I'm talking Apple, not no gates. Yeah, them NFTs cost spaghetti. Yeah, my diamond head 24 karat. Buy when it's low, then you sell it off. In the marketplace, we on digital. Brand new NFT, this ain't physical. Need at least 100, that's the minimum. Flip, yeah, I'm out of bigger the brick, yeah. We on the blockchain, look at my wallet, it's lit, yeah. Money legit, yeah. I just made triple my rent, yeah. Gotta flip, yeah, you rich, yeah. I got 100 NFTs on my phone. Pineapple, the juice, double cup, styrofoam. Really, I don't see no man, I get bread when I'm on. Don't care what they say, cause they pockets dead wrong. I just made a flip, yeah, flip, yeah. I just made a flip, yeah, rich, yeah, rich, yeah. Now we crypto rich, yeah, sick, yeah. Haters, they so sick, yeah, flip, yeah. Make that money flip, yeah.
What's up, everybody? Happy Wednesday night. It is time for the weekly Strange Vault live stream with the homie Dr. Strange. What's up, Doc? How we feeling tonight? I know it was your birthday yesterday, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It was awesome, man. Had a lot of the fam come through. Bless the kid, man, with your presents, all types of things, man. It was awesome, man.
Yeah, it was
Appreciate you, bro.
Great live stream. Yep, I was there as well. And if you guys want to check out the replay of the live stream, you can see it on Dr. Strange's YouTube channel. The link's in the description. It was the birthday bash yesterday. I'm sure a lot of you guys were there. Shout out to all the homies in the chat. Thanks for hanging out with us. We're going to be talking about some UFO videos and paranormal activity. This stream really doesn't have anything to do with NFTs. We're getting into the strange stuff on this one once a week on Wednesdays. Shout out to La Potato. Already talking about Project Bluebeam. And then we saw where somebody had a little bit of confusion between Project Bluebeam and Project Blue Book. So I don't even know the difference between the two, honestly. But we are getting into a Project Bluebeam video tonight, so it's going to be interesting. Shout out to Ronnie Lido is here. Denny OC, what's up? Backdoor Kicks, what's up? Alejandro, Mr. Marquez is here. I know he's shot a couple UFO pictures himself. Kryptoni's in the house. He was abducted by aliens in 2020. They took me to In-N-Out Burger. Oh, well, sounds like you had a good old time tonight. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Shout out to G's in the chat. What's up, everybody? Thanks for hanging out with us. Let's go. And me and Doc were talking about to begin our stream tonight. We're probably going to be going over the testimony that took place at the congressional hearings on UFOs today, because some really interesting stuff was said. We went ahead and fast forwarded through all the boring stuff. We're going to start right here where it starts getting interesting. What's up, Jeff? What's up, Bitcoin BMW? Thanks for hanging out with us. And we'll probably pause it once in a while to talk about what they're talking about. So let's get it started here with Mr. Matt Gates, the dude that looks like he was on Beverly Hills 90210 and then he grew up. Let's see what he's talking about.
Obvious next steps. Every person watching this knows that we need to meet with Mr. Grush in a secure, compartmentalized facility so that we can get fulsome answers that do not put him in jeopardy and that give us the information we need. Second, I would suggest that the radar images that were collected of this formation of craft out of Eglin Air Force Base, and specifically the actual
It's a topic of grave importance to our national security. Earlier this year, a Chinese spy balloon was shot down off the coast of my home state of South Carolina. Since the Roswell incident in 1947, many Americans have wondered about the dangers of unknown objects crisscrossing our skies. Whether these are UAPs or weather phenomena, advanced technology from American allied or enemy forces, or something more out of this world. So my first question, I have several questions, and if we can just be quick on these first two, I'm going to ask each of you the same question, and then I'll get to each of you individually. The first one, when you reported your experiences with a UAP, did any of you face any repercussions with your superiors, yes or no?
No. All right, so I want to talk about the witnesses real quick, who are the three guys that they have up there. And Doc Strange, hopefully you'll be able to help me out with Graves, because I know who Mr. Grush is. Mr. Grush is this new guy who's part of U.S. intelligence, who says that he's been receiving all these reports that verify that UFOs exist and alien life forms. And then Commander Fravor was the pilot during the Tic Tac UFO incident, and I feel like that was one of the best UFO cases caught on record by the U.S. military, at least, because it's very convincing and hard to debunk. And Doc Strange, do you know who Mr. Graves is?
No, I'm not really too familiar with him. I'm just learning about him now.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. I've heard the name before. He might have been one of the other pilots during the Tic Tac incident. You see Jeremy Corbyn back there. He's a famous ufologist as well. Shout out to OG Mertz in the chat talking about tomorrow's drop, the 5K comic that is going to be exciting. What's up, the biggest bro? Let's go. And let's get back into this testimony, because that's when they're going to start talking to these three witnesses, and they're going to be telling them what they know and what they don't know.
No. I've actually never seen anything personally, believe it or not. So.
All right. And then do you believe there's an active disinformation campaign within our government to deny existence of UAPs? Yes or no?
I don't have an answer to that.
As previously stated publicly, yes.
I think previously with like Project Blue Book, yes, but currently I don't speak for the United States government.
Okay. Thank you.
I hear that all right?
I have a few questions for Mr. Graves. What percentage of UAP sightings, in your belief, go unreported by our pilots?
This is an approximation based off of my personal experience speaking with a number of pilots, but I would estimate we're somewhere near 5% reporting perhaps.
So like 95% basically don't report seeing UAPs.
That's just my personal estimate.
In the incident off Virginia Beach, do you believe the Navy took the danger to your aircraft seriously after it was reported?
Absolutely.
A few questions for Mr. Favor. As an expert naval aviator, have you ever seen an object that looked and moved like the Tic Tac UAP?
No.
Did the Tic Tac UAP move in such a way that defied the laws of physics?
The way we understand them, yes.
Many dismiss UAP reports as classified weapons testing by our own government, but in your experience as a pilot, does our government typically test advanced weapon systems right next to multi-million-dollar jets without informing our pilots?
No, we have test ranges for that.
It took over 15 years for your encounter with the Tic Tac to be declassified. Do you feel there was a good reason to prevent lawmakers from having access to this footage?
No, I just think it was ignored when it happened, and it just sat somewhere in a file. Never got reported.
In a drawer. It happens a lot up here. Shocker. Mr. Grush, a couple of questions for you too, sir, this morning. What percentage of UAPs do you feel are adequately investigated by the U.S. government, of the 5% that are reported?
I can only speak for my personal leadership over at NGA. I tried to look at every report that came through that I could triage. So.
Do you believe that officials at the highest levels of our national security apparatus have unlawfully withheld information from Congress and subverted our oversight authority?
There are certain elected leaders that had more information that I'm not sure what they've shared with certain Gang of Eight members or et cetera, but certainly I would not be surprised.
Okay. You've stated that the government is in possession of potentially non-human spacecraft. Based on your experience and extensive conversations with experts, do you believe our government has made contact with intelligent extraterrestrials?
Something I can't discuss in public setting.
He says something I can't discuss in a public setting. That means he knows the answer. He just can't say it.
Okay, and I can't ask when you think this occurred. If you believe we have crashed craft, stated earlier, do we have the bodies of the pilots who piloted this craft?
As I've stated publicly already in my News Nation interview, biologics came with some of these recoveries. Yeah.
Were they, I guess, human or non-human biologics?
Non-human, and that was the assessment of people with direct knowledge on the program I talked to that are currently still on the program.
And was this documentary evidence, this video, photos, eyewitness? Like, how would that be determined?
The specific documentation I would have to talk to you in a skiff about.
Gotcha. Yeah. Okay. So, and you may or may not be able to answer my last question, and maybe we get into a skiff at the next hearing that we have, but who in the government, either what agency, sub-agency, what contractors, who should be called into the next hearing about UAPs, either in a public setting or even in a private setting? And you probably can't name names, but what agencies or organizations, contractors, et cetera, do we need to call in to get these questions answered, whether it's about funding, what programs are happening, and what's out there?
I can give you a specific cooperative and hostile witness list of specific individuals that were in those.
And how soon can we get that list?
I'm happy to provide that to you after the hearing.
Super. Thank you. And I yield back.
And at one point, the Grush guy says that he knows where the
Now we have Mr.
aliens
Ryan
are being
Busey.
held on Earth, of course. the dead bodies, in other words.
Thank you very much. I'd like to thank.
So that part in particular was the one I watched before I left for the day, and I knew that part was kind of spicy. I know Doc Strange was digging into it a little bit as well. Doc, is there any other interesting parts to this congressional hearing that you heard?
Have to think about that. I mean, one interesting part is one of the congressmen was saying that the reason why we even got to this point today was because what happened, you know, what he did with Stephen Greer and all that stuff last month and a couple weeks ago. And ever since then, they started trying to go down rabbit holes and request further information, or like even, you know, the pilot that filmed the Tic Tac UFO, the congressman was saying that he was like, you guys are only seeing like a 2-minute clip. And he was like, that's like a 16-minute video. And he's like, if they were to show the whole video, there would be no debating on what these things are and stuff like that. So they asked him, like, what do you mean? And he was like, well, the UFO keeps panning one direction and they're, you know, kind of following it. And he's like, eventually it like levels out. And when it levels out, you see about 12 to 16 of that same other UFO. He's like, at that point, like, you know, he's like, I'm sure if the American people saw that part of the video, that would make it a little more interesting, you know? And he's like, why is that classified, but then this part isn't?
Yeah, and that's what he's always maintained too, that there was a lot longer video that he saw with his own eyes that they never released to the public, and if people saw that, then there wouldn't be much debate about it. All right, let's watch one more clip about from the congressional hearing. Let's see if there's a good one though. That's a security one. Yeah, let's watch Ed's clip right here, and let's see what they're talking about. It's only 32 seconds long. It should be interesting.
So there has been activity by alien or non-human technology and or beings that has caused harm to humans.
I can't get into the specifics in an open environment, but at least the activity that I personally witnessed, and I have to be very careful here because you know, they tell you never to acknowledge tradecraft, right? So what I personally witnessed myself and my wife was very disturbing.
Okay, so there.
So he said he's seen some disturbing stuff himself, and that's just from the documentation, because that's all he has is documentation. He says he hasn't seen any of the crafts or aliens himself, but it was his job to investigate this stuff, and all those reports got sent to him, and through conversations with people higher up, he was able to determine that it was a real thing. So like Ronnie Lido says, there's no documentation, but don't worry, Ronnie Lido, I have a couple videos today that I want to see you try to debunk, because they are mind-blowing. Maybe not mind-blowing, but good. They're good ones. So Doc Strange, do you think this congressional hearing is going to change anybody's minds?
Possibly. Depends on what they're able to extract and get declassified and what comes out of it. You know, I was totally thrown off because I mean, I called myself staying up to date with this, and boom, this happened today, and I didn't even know it was supposed to happen today. So we'll see where it goes, man. You know, it's really different in the fact that usually, you know, you have some whistleblowers and someone on a deathbed or someone who's claiming they worked for some, you know, agency. But what makes this different is Stephen Greer galvanized current Congress people, current military, you know, people not retired. So they are putting everything on the line right now. And bipartisan wise, everyone's getting frustrated and working together. So I don't know where this is going to go. You know, it could all be planned. You know what I mean? It could be part of disclosure, and it's so.
Yeah, there's one video. I was going to say there's one video we're going to watch today where the guy talks about, he doesn't talk about it in the video, but in the comments, and I'll read them as well, how this is all just a setup to get our minds to believing that this is real, and they're trying to fake everybody out, which this whole thing might be, they might not have any type of craft, and they're doing this on purpose because they want to distract us from something. Who knows? Do you think that's possible? I know, Doc Strange, you probably believe in the UFOs as much as I do, but do you think as a conspiracy that maybe this is some type of false flag to take our attention away from maybe the money that the government is stealing?
No, not necessarily that. I mean, I don't even know if the government's stealing money. I mean, if they are stealing money, it's right in front of your face through the Ukraine war.
Illegally, right.
You have to define government. It's all fractions.
I gotta get you on my political debate night one time, and we can get into all that. That should be interesting. Let's talk about some other stuff that happened this week that was somewhat in the range of paranormal. Let me get to the chat real quick, too. The Biggest Bro says, see, guys, once VV starts onboarding aliens, we will see Thanos and Kang take off, not financial advice. He's got a good point there. Aliens start buying these. We don't even know how many there are. There could be billions of them. They might just sweep the floors. Marquez says, scary, but would be cool if they do come clean with the public. Yeah, everybody talks about when is disclosure, but I don't know if they'll ever just come out and disclose UFOs are real. I feel like they have to work their way up to it, and that's kind of what they're doing now. Because this guy is a high-level intelligence officer. It almost feels like he was told to do this, or this is part of his job. It's not like he's whistleblowing, in my opinion, but I could be wrong. Let's see, Ronnie Lido says all of the above and the lottery, which is possible. I think they might be doing smoke and mirrors. Let's see, it could be. Check out the Aurora, Texas UFO crash like 50 years before Roswell. I went there to check it out. 50 years before Roswell? Ooh, I'll have to remember to check that out for sure. Crazy Croatia says false flag. Hunter Biden, come on, Hunter Biden. That's not even how you spell Biden. C Spill says, are you still hungover, doctor? Oh, did you have a good night last night, doctor?
I did, man. I had a pretty good dinner, and yeah, man. Smoked my face off, man. I don't drink like that.
Shout out to Big A in the chat. What's up, Big A? The Rita Repula Tunnel, she's free. I don't even know what that means. But there was this thing that washed up on the beach in Australia, and I've seen a lot of videos about it.
An unidentified
Let me try to mute that real quick. People trying to figure out exactly what it was, and we'll get a couple of angles of it. Some people thinking it could have came from a UFO or something. Nobody can work out exactly what it is. I know somebody said in the comments it has rivets, so that makes you think that it would be man-made, but it just popped up out of nowhere. And I saw one explanation for it right here on, I think it was on Google, where it says the mystery cylinder on Western Australia beach was likely space junk, authorities say. A mystery object that washed up on Australia, sparking a flurry of local excitement and speculation. But I don't know, man. Space junk? Like, what do you think about this one, Dr. Strange?
I would say the best comment that I found basically said that it belonged to an Indian space rocket. Something that comes off in one of the stages of the launch, and that it belongs to a rocket. Yeah.
I hear you. I can see that. I mean, it does look man-made for sure. I don't think it was like alien or anything, but it was kind of hard to identify. So I thought I'd check that out. And then what just happened, I think today, was really interesting, and Doc Strange pointed this out to me. And if you guys haven't heard about it already, the Senator Mitch McConnell was doing a press conference today, and you'll see what happened.
Bipartisan cooperation and a string of...
and that's what happens. He just freezes up.
Robot malfunction.
Me too, Ronnie.
Me too, Ronnie.
He's close to where I live. He's Kentucky. Been Kentucky senator for 100 years. So yeah.
Him and what's his name? Tim Scott.
Okay, Mitch.
Tim Scott, I think, Florida. I could be wrong.
Anything else you want to say?
No, not Tim Scott. The black dude. That's
Do you want to say anything else to the
He was
press?
either the governor or whatever.
Oh, I'm not sure. I haven't been paying attention to politics for a while. Not at least state level anyway.
I want to bring in
he freezed up,
NBC's
and it probably looks like maybe it's a medical condition or something. He went to the doctor, but it has you thinking that maybe something else was happening, as in like a handler who's been making people say things in Congress. And that sounds crazy, but if you see this video that happened this week as well, this is the one I want to get an explanation from Ronnie Lido. Check out this chick in the back, the aide. She's like mouthing the words. It's almost like she's making the congressman say what she's saying, and she's making some crazy faces. Some people think she's some kind of handler, and like she's controlling her, and when she messes up, she goes and corrects her. And then what was you telling me about it, Doc?
So right here, when she corrects her, right, first of all, she's reading it word for word. She's mouthing it word for word. And then where the black woman is about to even mess up, she comes in and tells her what to say to kind of get her, I guess, back on track. And if you're playing the audio, you hear her say a number, like 56. I can't hear it, but I forget what she says. But she says like 56, 57. And if you look at the woman in the back, which I think my square might be over her mouth, but this is why she's also putting her hand over her mouth. But how do you correct someone and then their first statement is the wrong word, like a trip up, like 56, 57, and you even mouth that correction? Like, you knew they would say the wrong thing, and then it's like you just told them what to say, so, but then you're mouthing the whole thing. Like, it's just a lot to process. It's mad angles that I'm thinking about it from.
Yeah, and people are just like, oh, well, she's probably the one who wrote the speech, and she's just proud of it, and she's just, as she's talking it as it's happening. For one, I don't see an aide memorizing her speech that she wrote, recently one time. She probably read it through one time and gave it to the congressman to speak on it. But then also all the faces she's making with her eyes, it just looks wild. It looks lizard-like, honestly. Some weird stuff happening.
It's a lot going on.
See, look at her looking up into out into space or something. And then whenever this came out, a lot of other people were looking at other videos where it looks like somebody in the background is mouthing the words as...
she's saying it at the same time.
Yeah. It's pretty crazy to me, for real. And then that goes back to the Mitch McConnell stuff. Maybe his handler disappeared, wasn't there to give him the words, and that's why he froze up today. I'm just saying. Let's see what the chat thinks about it. Danny says she's tripping on a dose. I know that was one... I heard of several theories about what was going on. Some people said cocaine. Some people said, like, if you take Adderall or something, or I don't know, like Adderall or Ritalin a lot, it happens. But I don't know, man. It looks a little too crazy. I've never seen anybody like that.
Yeah, all of that funny looking and all of that aside, that could be attributed to drug use, but none of that drug use can explain why she's literally mouthing verbatim what the woman in front of her is saying. And there's people who say, at a certain point, she looks into the actual camera that this is being shot from, and then that's when she's putting her hand over her mouth, but she's still saying stuff. And there's probably ways to say this through someone else or whatever without really even verbalizing and moving your lips. You know what I mean? Like, it could just be all something going on inside your mouth a little bit. Like, I don't know, but there's something going on. They both got blue suits on. Who's to say she's an aide? People, minimize other people and what they could potentially be in this situation by just calling her an aide. Ain't none of us reading her credentials to be calling her that. We don't know who she is. That's really where we should start investigating who is this person.
And you would think when something like this happens that maybe she would come out and make a statement about it, like at least on her own social media accounts, and people would definitely catch up and pick up on that and retweet it if it happened. But same with the girl that was on, the really hot girl that was on the airplane that said that don't exist. She just disappeared off the face of this earth, and now nobody knows who this lady is or where she came from. And like Doc said, a lot of people are just assuming she's an aide. Look at her hand, man. Oh, you can't see it because it's behind Doc.
Yeah.
Let me see it.
Yeah, a lot of it you couldn't see because my square.
Well, I mean, only a tiny bit you couldn't see. I was watching just a tiny bit. I mean, we could play it again like this. But she looks like she got some manly hands. Like her hand is twice the size of her face. That don't even look like a woman's hand, man. I don't know. I'm not trying to hand shame. I'm just saying, shout out to Froey Comeys in the chat. Let's go. Ronnie Lato is not feeling it. He says, I can do this with TV shows I've never seen before. I can mimic what they're saying. Yeah, but are you going to be making those weird faces at the time? Look at that.
Yeah. And I mean, this is government people. It's not us. It's not me and you sitting around trying to imitate anything. This is real life. This is happening on TV. Like, these are governmental people. So they shouldn't be doing that. So either you wrote the script yourself to the point where you got it memorized and she ain't just an aide, or there's something else going on. Because again, if you listen audibly, you can clearly see her lean over and correct her or guide her on what to say next. So for the black woman to then open her mouth and then make an incorrect statement and go 56, 58, or whatever the number is she said. I haven't watched this in a week. But for her to be mouthing even that correction doesn't make logical sense. Because if I just told you to say 57, yada, 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 and then you trip up, I shouldn't even know you're going to trip up.
Right.
How is that humanly possible?
I see what you're saying here, yeah. Let me try to listen to it again. I don't remember hearing that part. Let me try to keep it this way so you guys can see it very well. And let's listen to it again with the audio on. This is really interesting to me, this clip in particular. I've been checking it out all week. This one don't really have good sound at all. No, I'd have to find a clip, and I couldn't find a good clip of it on YouTube. This one doesn't have very good audio. I have to go back and listen to it again. So you guys should go look it up yourselves and check it out and see what Doc Strange is talking about. How can she know a mistake before it happens? Shout out to Roger Ease in the chat. What's up, everybody? Thanks for hanging out with us. Easy explanation scrolls. Many humans have many different skills. Wait, I don't understand these explanations. Neither one of those.
I don't understand why someone would be going out their way to do this when this isn't even a highly publicized, or this wasn't like breaking news and broadcasted on 1 million networks to be going all out like that for this.
Yeah, it's strange to me. Marquez says that's messed up because she could be anxious. I think she wrote the speech. She could also be on like 2 hours of sleep. I was thinking that too. Maybe just on a whole lot of Adderall or Ritalin. Who knows? I don't even know what all they do for that. All right, let's get on to the next video. Although that one pretty much freaked me out. All right, let's check out this one. This one is from Florida, July 15th. And you see this ball of light go across the sky, and when it blinks, all the electricity goes out. And now a few lights come back on because of generators. It blinks again, and then those go out, and then again, and they go out for good. So this one's pretty wild to me. I tried to look it up to see when there was a blackout, if there were any on July 15th in 2023 in Florida, and I didn't see anything like it. But I didn't see any reports on it, and I feel like they would have reported on that. But besides that, it does look pretty convincing. What do you think it is, Doc Strange? Like a UFO or like a EMP?
You able to play it with audio?
Yeah. Let me go back. Let me refresh it and turn the audio on. Let's check it out. Does it have...
2862. Believe it.
Almost sound like thunder. That's interesting.
Yeah. It's very interesting. So like I say, I've been seeing a rash of, not a lot, but definitely a handful, all within 3 months. These UFOs either in Florida or South America somewhere, just hovering over. I've seen ones where a beam of light is coming out the sky and it literally hit like very close to a gas station area, and then stuff went on fire, and all of a sudden all the lights black out. And this is the second video I've seen that's shot at night where a ball of light is going over the area, and either a beam of light comes down and power is just shutting down as it's flying by. So it's something I'm seeing more and more of. So I'm just keeping my eyes on it.
Yeah, it could be even a weapon from another country, a way to take out everybody's electricity that they're experimenting with. Who knows for sure? But like the biggest bro says, it's Florida, and all kinds of crazy stuff happen in Florida. Daniel C says sonic boom. That would be interesting if it was a sonic boom. I think it would be moving a lot faster. But I have seen recently some sonic boom videos where people are just in their homes, and out of nowhere, I guess they were testing some type of military jet, and it does a sonic boom right by their house and busts out the windows. All right, so this one's crazy. Me and Doc were talking about this one a little bit. It's kind of a long video.
How you want to ask me? All right, now we're recording. So, all right. Because I am Specialist Guy Malinsky, Washington National Guard. This is Specialist Woolman, Washington National Guard. And what are we doing here, Specialist Woolman?
Well, as you see, we have a couple lanes set up here. We've had some zombie activity in these derelict buildings in this little Salem, little country town. We're just trying to clear it out, trying to keep everybody safe. We haven't had any casualties come through just yet, but we have had some gunshots in these surrounding buildings.
Well, why don't we take a walk down there and see? So,
yeah.
So how common are these things?
Well, we're thinning out the herd slightly.
Tell them a little bit about what they're watching, Doc Strange.
You're watching two gentlemen that are part of the National Guard. I think they're part of two different divisions or something, and it starts off where he's like, okay, the video's running now. So it's basically like they must have met each other. One dude's telling the other dude some crazy stuff, and he's like, yo, I need to record this. You could tell the conversation is starting where he's like, say it again. So he's running through it and basically telling him that there's zombies there, and they're there to secure the area. They're going to go outside. Even before I knew they were talking about zombies, because in the beginning I didn't catch everything, he says zombies very low. When they go outside, I was looking in one of the windows of the building, and I swore I saw something walk by, and I was like, oh, whatever. But I'm like, that building looks kind of like ran down and boarded up. I'm like, maybe I'm bugging. And then they actually go by another building, and he says like, yeah, oh yeah, there's people moving around up there. But I think he was saying those were military personnel inside that building. They were just clearing it. But yeah, that's pretty much what you're watching.
Right, and hopefully I didn't zoom past the part where he says that this happens like once a month, and they just come into there and they contain it. They're saying it's like zombies. Didn't he also say zombies with guns? They did say they heard guns in the building. My assumption was it was like humans being attacked by zombies and fighting back with their guns. So let's watch. And kind of my discussion with Dr. Strange was, is this like a movie production? I mean, what was, or is it just a setup? And it can't be a setup, because if you look at all the equipment they have, it makes it seem like it's a real thing that happens and is caught on video. So let's check it out a little bit more with sound.
See this big building right here?
Yeah.
We already cleared this one out about 2 hours ago, but we're still hearing noises. We still hear some scraping around in there. I think there might be a couple little things still going on. But we're going to send another sweep through there, and I just said we're right now set up for any possible contamination.
All right, and the point of this right now is to decon any of our guys or any civilians that are caught.
Absolutely. Anything from a slight blood splatter to a full-on bite or a penetrating wound.
Fun fact, not everyone who gets bitten transforms. I know there's a lot of misconception with all the movies and stuff going on. You know, fairly common to see these guys just laughing. I mean, it's a pretty safe thing. A full-blown epidemic is pretty much not likely to happen. You have to have a predispositioned ability to get turned into one.
Absolutely. Not only that, but it's a bite that really kills you. You already have the strand available in your stream to turn into this zombie or this flesh eater, or this biggest misconception is that they don't go for the brain. A lot of TV shows put that out, that they eat brain, but no.
But nevertheless, we take this quite seriously.
Absolutely.
It's a huge operation we have going right now. We liaison with several different guard agencies and even the Homeland Response.
Yeah, so you can see their major vehicle is just on the other side of this tent. We got to get to a better vantage point to really.
All right, let's take a walk. Yeah.
Yeah, just watch your step. Watch your step.
Of course. I mean, we don't really choose the areas these things happen at, and we got the best option, best place where to do it.
Yeah, you notice how it's basically a backyard, but you got to do what you got to do, or with what you have. And around this corner, nice fresh mud. Actually does slow down the zombie herd.
Well, that just turned out to be advantageous. Right now we're being by the generators, so we probably won't be able to hear much. We got a huge generator, farm, factory set up, stretchers, any wounded.
Now these mobile stations up here are the Homeland Defense. They're fairly well organized, and they're really the first responders. We see another one of our derelict buildings. Yet to be cleared out, but
don't worry, I'm not really saying anything important, biggest bro. I'm just looking at the video and like making little small comments like, what is that? Oh, I did mention all those generators. Like, what's the point of having all those generators not for like a movie production?
We haven't heard a whole lot of activity from it. That's one of our next major hotspots to hit.
We have MPs around the whole area.
And I don't see any cameras.
Containing the situation so it doesn't spread.
A perimeter is super important in a situation like this. We control what's going on the site, but we have to control what's going on around the site as well.
That we do. And we have a...
I'll take a look at this building again.
All right.
Right there right now.
So what do you think, Dr. Strange? It's a legit thing that happens in America? You think there's a team trained around stopping zombie outbreaks? Because if that is happening, I hope it don't happen here. I'm in a country town too. I don't like that.
Yeah, I feel you, man. I mean, I've heard weird little rumblings over the last year and stuff. I didn't take it too serious, you know. This is an interesting video. Again, like, they even vocally sound like some bad actors, you know, like some dudes trying to do something, but I don't know. I'm trying to just add it all up. To me, this is a video that I would love to just keep watching over and over. I just found it like an hour ago, so I like to look at different things while I'm watching a video like this. Like, I'm trying to look in the background, looking at the buildings. I'm trying to see if I can see some sort of camera stuff going on somewhere, or You know what I'm saying? So I just need to see it more. Just found it, but it's definitely interesting, man. If it's all for fun, then it's all for fun. You know what I'm saying? I really don't know, man. The type of person I am is like, I just like to be aware of all possibilities, possible even, just so I'm not fully caught off guard if some shit pops off. You know what I'm saying? That's how
Yeah, I wish I could maximize the Instagram video so we can get a better look at it. But I mean, I don't know. I kind of disagree with you on the acting. I mean, he looked scared to me. He looked legit scared. Like the whole time, he had like that scared look on his face. In my opinion.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. I mean, it's hard to interpret. It could, because it could mean both of it. Like it could mean either of those. You know what I'm saying? It's the same way as someone being like, "Oh, well, you ask someone a question and their eyes drift to a certain direction, then that means they're lying." It's like, well, what if that's just what the person does? You know what I'm saying? Like everybody's different. So I don't know. You know, I don't like to say for sure across the board something is or isn't. But yeah, it either, when I take into account how they both sound, they almost sound giddy at certain points and not scared. Like the guy asking the question sounds a little giddy, like he has a smirk or some sort of smile on his face, like if I was there looking at him talking. So that worries me, and then that makes me feel a little like it's either pre-planned, pre-written, or something like that. But other than that, again, it's a lot of people out there. That's a lot of money in uniforms. That's a lot of money in lights. That's a lot of money in equipment. A lot of money in tech. Like I'm involved with a lot of video productions and things going on. So it's like, I understand how much it costs just to pull a smoke machine out, just to pull a drone out, you know, and this dude is shooting this on his phone. So even, you know, I'm familiar with every low budget movie known to man, watched them all since the 80s, 70s, Blair Witch Project. So I get it, like trying to make it authentic. I'm like, yo, we're gonna film this movie with our phones and make it authentic. Like I get it, but I just don't know if you pull all these assets out to make some low budget movie, which, because I've seen videos before and they'd be like, oh, it's for a low budget movie, and then they never came out and the video's just old, so nobody talks about it. But that's how they dismiss it in real time. So you got to be careful.
Well, unfortunately, Doc, Ronnie Lido has debunked us. It is me in that video. He mentioned that guy looks like me, and that's Dr. Strange in the camera filming me. Sorry about that. We got to make some good content for Strange Vault. Sorry about that. Shout out
you can't even have this dude in the chat, man.
Shout out to G Metals in the chat. I could tell that he knows a little bit about the hearing that happened today. Shout out to Jay Hirsch is here. Mr. Joe Rubacaba says it looks like a real military dude's at a real military exercise or event making a dorky film. I mean, I guess I can see that possibly, but at certain points of the video, there's one where you see the building and it looks like a giant blood splatter on the side of the wall. So I don't know what that was all about. Marquez said they need generators for their power. I like it, but they do look and sound like low budget actors. I don't know, man. It might be me actually acting. Shout out to Captain Obvious is in the chat. What's up, Cap? Thanks for hanging out with us. Let's go. Let's get into some more of these fun videos. And C-Spill agrees. It is a movie set. Thinks it's a movie set anyway. I don't know for sure. Let's check out some more UFO videos. This one is in a different language.
First, I'm like, what am I looking at?
Yeah.
Once you get to the middle.
Well, I might not have seen this one yet.
Yes, you gotta look close, but when the camera changes, it's gonna zoom out a little. Just look at the top of the cloud, and just look at what happens.
I have seen it
a lot of these types of videos before.
What is that?
Sucking type of motion over and over and over. There's a million of these videos, so you could call them fake, but a million people have recorded these things now.
Well, he's saying the cloud is fake, and I've always assumed that if UFOs were real, that they would probably use some type of clouds or make themselves look like clouds.
Right. Cloak,
and we've seen a lot of UFO videos with UFOs coming out of clouds. But yeah, I agree. This looks a little weird. Maybe it's just in front of the sun, though. The sun could be reflecting from the back. But I don't understand what that light is. And like Doc Strange said, I've seen several videos like that where it's this weird light coming out of the cloud. Anybody got an explanation for me? If so, I would love to hear it. Shout out to Tony Dolce's in the chat. What's up, Tony Dolce? Says happy birthday to Dr. Strange. Absolutely. Happy birthday, Doc.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate it. Yo, I want to shout out everybody that came through. Captain Obvious, Ronnie Lido, Biggest Bro, U-Vault, and C-Spill was there. Like, so many people was there, man. It was ridiculous, man. So I appreciate everybody, man.
Yeah, it was a great stream for sure. I mean, I have no explanation for that. I don't really hear any good explanations in the chat for the first time ever. So I don't know. This one I don't really think is a UFO. However, I don't know what it is. So maybe y'all can help me out. And Doc Strange, you might have seen this one. This one came out this week as well. Like a dolphin in the sky.
Sorry, but in my 29 years of living, I ain't never seen some shit like that. Never seen some shit like this.
Like, I don't even really know what it could be. Aurora lights? I mean, you have to be in Alaska for that, right? Or somewhere.
I mean, is it moving, or that looks like it's a break in the clouds or something? Yeah.
I don't know. It's hard to say because it's not moving.
Right.
Need him to zoom in again.
I mean, I don't see any like sharp edges.
So we can mute it because he don't say nothing or do anything.
Okay.
I'm not exactly sure what that could be. Like I said, it might not be like a UFO or anything. However, maybe it is. But you can see the sky is completely clear. So I mean, I don't think it's like a cloud with light being shined on it. I literally don't know what it could be. C-Spill says air wells. It does look like a well. It looks like a fish to me. A fish in the sky, lit up blue. I don't know what's going on with that, y'all. I have no theories or anything for you. Doc, you got any theories on that one?
Yeah, it could. I don't know, man. I've been seeing these videos going around of people capturing these biological entities with like tentacles and tails at the end. And I mean, I could have sent you a wild video, but to me, it's too much camera shaking and turning away from stuff, so to where it like could just be edited or something. But I've been seeing these weird videos of these like almost biological, aquatic looking fish type things in the skies that people are capturing. Also, even above the clouds, people are on planes capturing them. The same thing. So I don't know, man, what to make of that.
See, C-Spill says it might be a VV NFT and AR. Well, they ain't released it yet. They ain't dropped that yet. Ronnie Lotto says, we think clouds are 3 versions, but there's really dozens. What is it? Cumulus, Humus, and Stratus or something? And you're right, there probably are dozens, but I don't think this is a cloud. And if these type of clouds did exist, then we would have seen them on video before, and we would all know about them. This is kind of unexplainable. That's why it's in the UFO section. And it's kind of crazy, too. I don't know how this happened, but up until now, if you ever type in hashtag UAV, you can see a bunch of UFO videos, but now somehow they have stolen the hashtag of UAV, and it is now the name of a rocket or something. And every time you try to go in here and look at UAV videos, all you'll see is people getting blown up in Russia and stuff. So you can no longer find UAV videos when you search the hashtag UAV. It's crazy that they just kind of stole that hashtag. But if you do OVNI, that's another good one. I think it stands for UFO in French or something. You can find a lot of good videos that way.
Yeah, you got to stick with UAP or UFO, obviously, because UAV now been taken over because they use so many drones to take out tanks in Ukraine now, the remote control vehicles.
Joe says it looks like a lenticular cloud, so maybe I am discounting this theory of it being a cloud too much. I guess that's possible. A glowing blue cloud shaped like a fish? I don't know. This is a video that Doc just sent to me right before we went live. It's an hour long, though, so I'm not sure if there's a certain point of the video we should watch, Doc, or you think it just started from the beginning?
I don't know. I didn't think you were even going to play this. This was just like kind of for me and you, just for you to consume. Okay. I thought it was interesting how on my birthday there was an announcement made that, you know, it's a major witness that was never asked to testify, but was right there during the day of Malcolm X's assassination. It's been just a lot going on. You know, the men that they did say killed him was just released from jail a couple months ago. So the question then came back to, well, who did it? And, you know, it's always been a lot of theories that it was CIA, NYPD, FBI, like all compartmentalized. And C-Spill says play it, you know. So it's kind of crazy, man, but it's about to heat up. Just like, you know, with things in Congress, things are about to heat up, man. Welcome to the age of Aquarius, the truth and light bearer. All that's in the dark will come to light. You can play it, bro.
I got it linked in the chat if you guys want to check it out. I don't think we can play it now because it's an hour long, and I mean, I wouldn't know the good parts to listen to. I didn't realize that I was supposed to check it out, but if you guys want to check it out.
I would say like 2 minutes in, you could play it, but there's a nice, you know, a minute or 2 minutes in, there's a nice little blurb basically explaining.
All right, let's check this out.
Attorney Hamlin and Attorney Sheerness know that is not foreign to you all is that the FBI had many informants in the Audubon ballroom on that tragic day. We know that they withheld their information and did not let anybody know, send a directive that nobody is to reveal our presence in the Audubon ballroom where Malcolm X was assassinated. We know that Eugene Roberts, who was an NYPD officer and working in the Special Division Bossy, and we know that he was told he could not in any way give any information during the criminal trials of those who were convicted for killing Malcolm X. But he subsequently, much later in life before he died, did give interviews where he revealed that he was in the Audubon ballroom, showed that he was a member of NYPD, showed that he had been put on special assignment for Bossy, and said that I know I was not the only informant in the room. He said that they kept us isolated. We didn't even know who the other informants were when we were trying to gather information and trying to be accepted in to the circles of trust.
Yeah, I definitely believe that that's true. FBI probably had something to do with the assassination of not only Malcolm X, but probably Martin Luther King and John F. Kennedy, and probably other assassinations too. I don't know. What do you think, Dr. Strange? Do you think all three of those were orchestrated by the FBI or at least the deep state?
Absolutely. You can add on the recent Haitian president. You could add on Gaddafi, who tried to bring in the dinar, which would have been backed by an actual natural resource, unlike our dollar bill. So that would totally destabilize everything. Gaddafi, basically, the resources that were coming out of his community were so abundant that all the people were receiving checks every week just from their property just being on the actual land. You know what I'm saying? So nobody had a want for anything. Everybody was good there. And as usual, colonizers want to come in and destabilize. So now that we're in a more modern era, they just call it a coup or whatever, but it's just like Benghazi and all that other stuff. It's us poking our nose and trying to destabilize countries and then replace their leaders with our own puppets. So it's happening in not Jamaica, in Haiti, it happened in Libya, and it happens all over the world, you know what I'm saying? And this is why Russia is arming certain African nations with anti-aircraft defense systems, advanced systems that allow them to detect drones. And they just shot down a United States drone. It wasn't announced on our news channels. You got to be watching like either African news or like there's an India news one that keeps it a buck. But yeah, they shot down one of our own surveillance drones flying over an African country it wasn't supposed to be flying over. And they were using Russian-given technology to do it. So while you're in America being told Russia is one thing, I have a whole different perspective on things based on what I'm seeing in real time, things that I hear. So I'm just trying to be very objective.
Yeah, that's crazy. Ronnie Lido's in the chat talking about the Fugees rapper Praz was an FBI informant. I remember hearing something about it, but I really don't know a lot about that. What happened with that, Dr. Strange?
Nah, it's all facts, man. I mean, it's all facts. And then it gets even a deeper layer is that one of their artists that they were trying to put on, I forget his first name, is something Forte. He got caught with mad bricks in the airport right as soon as he blew up. And everybody was like, yo, you just got a record that's like blowing up. Why are you transporting bricks? And that made no sense. Like, you are literally a soft ass rapper. Like, you don't even come off like a street dude. Is that, John Forte. Yeah, you're not even coming off like you some street hustler, da-da-da-da-da. But yet you was really trying to move bricks through the airport and got caught. So it's like, shouldn't you be on a private jet? Shouldn't things be flowing and moving to where you don't get caught like that? How are you? And then years later, now comes out Praz's informant. So was Praz the reason why he got caught? It's all, you know what I'm saying? Everything right there for you, man. That's all I'm saying.
And yeah, John Forte, he had a verse in Staying Alive, which was like their biggest hit.
Facts.
So he was well paid. So that makes sense. All right, there's another person that I want to inform you guys about. Some of you might have heard of him before. His name's Valiant Thor. You'll get into the story about him, but notice how some guy created a band and called it Valiant Thor, and I feel like they did that on purpose to push down the search results for this Valiant Thor character. So I found one clip that's only 2 minutes long that should hopefully give you the whole entire story about it, and then we'll talk about it afterwards. Check this out if you guys haven't heard about Valiant
just
Thor.
got better.
Got to get through these advertisements real quick. Here we go.
Told me his name was Valiant Thor. He grabbed my hand. His hand was skin as soft as a lady's.
Yeah, the volume's really low on that. I don't know if you can hear it. It's somebody's interview.
And we spent 30 minutes.
You can't. Yeah, it's super low.
Questions and he giving answers.
All right. So basically, and I'll just mute this then. So Valiant Thor is this guy that showed up, and you can see what he looks.
No, it's not that bad.
Okay. All right, cool. I can't. Oh, now it's just music.
I got it.
All right, it just went straight to music. So these are some actual pictures of this person, Valiant Thor. And if you were listening to the interview, the guy is talking about him and confirming that he really existed. And this is the guy that just showed up and started working for the CIA, and he had all this higher knowledge, and he helped technology move kind of to the next level. And then he disappeared. And he told people to their face, "I'm from a different planet."
Yes.
Right? What else? Do you know anything else about him, Dr. Strange?
I think another thing he did was work with God, I can't remember his name. It's the person that did the first Disney commercials and advertisements for Disney and stuff, and he was showing him, you know, the science of making commercials and stuff like that. Like, this guy's like heavily influential, man. You know.
Backdoor Kick says Wi-Files debunked this. I don't think I've ever heard of Wi-Files. I kind of want to check it out. Let's see if we can.
Let's see, man.
See what they say about it. Because I've heard of this story for 20, 30 years, and I always wondered what was up with this dude. Wi-Files. Valiant Thor, UFO, Pentagon 3-year mission to save the world. It's 18 minutes long, but it does look really interesting. Let me link this in the chat for you guys. I have watched this guy before. He's pretty good.
O'clock in the morning, a 300-foot-long spacecraft landed in a field in Alexandria, Virginia.
All right, let's get to the conclusion. Let's see what he says.
Of natural stargates.
That's a hell of a resume.
Yeah, it's a lot. But if we really are in the danger that she claims, we need all the cosmic warriors we can get. But what about Dr. Frank Strange's? Here's where things get messy. First of all, the entire story of Valiant Thor comes from Strange's book, Stranger at the Pentagon, which was released in 1967. But Val arrived 10 years earlier, and during that time, Frank published other books on UFOs and even produced a couple of documentaries about UFOs and aliens. No mention of Valiant Thor in all that time.
Well, maybe he was waiting for the right time to tell the story.
Maybe, but we have to consider the messenger. Frank claimed to have 3 PhDs from 2 colleges. Well, one of those colleges doesn't exist, and the other doesn't offer PhDs and never has. He says he was the deputy director of the California State Marshal Association, but there's no such thing. The book itself is basically a retelling of the day the Earth stood still. I come in peace, take me to your leader, nuclear weapons are bad, the hero and the alien become friends. It's exactly the same. But Frank made it very, very religious. Everything in the book is God's will, the power of Christ, all that stuff. But Frank was a preacher, a Christian evangelist, so this is to be expected. He traveled the country giving lectures about UFOs and their connection to God and the Bible. Stranger at the Pentagon is a book.
This guy's got like 2.4 million subscribers, so we probably shouldn't just watch this video without breaking in every once in a while. We'll get kicked off of YouTube, but okay, so he's saying that the whole Valiant Thor story came from one particular person. I don't necessarily know that that's true. I thought other people had testified that they knew Valiant Thor as well, and you can see all these photographs as well. So I don't know. Maybe he's psyoping us to make us forget about Valiant Thor, or maybe he's telling the truth. I didn't watch the whole entire video. I got it linked there in the chat if you guys want to check it out. Let's watch a little bit more and see what else it says.
About spreading the word of Christ. If the story isn't real, this is a genius way to get non-believers interested in Christianity.
Adding aliens can improve any story.
Agreed.
Well, what about the pictures of the aliens? Are those real?
That I don't know.
Aha!
They could be pictures of an alien crew advising the President of the United States. Or they could be pictures of random people at a backyard barbecue. Nobody's come forward claiming to know anyone in the photos, so we can't prove them, but we can't debunk them either. And look, this story is way out there, but in the 40 years he spent giving lectures about Valiant Thor, Frank's story never wavered. And ever since then, many people have sprung up claiming to know Valiant Thor or even be Valiant Thor. Val has his own author page on Amazon, so he writes books now. Now, do I believe Jesus was an alien? No. Do I believe the story of Valiant Thor? Not at all. But Val's message of being kind and spending more time in the service of one another, having an open mind, these are things I do believe in. We all...
So that's interesting. I feel like this was such a big enough story, those pictures were popular enough or seen around the world enough that if somebody recognized, hey, that's my uncle, and I got a bunch more pictures here showing that that's my uncle at that time, that those pictures would have popped up at some point, especially if he was so popular that he was hanging out with the president. So I'm a little bit skeptical of the debunking myself. And yeah, I do think that is Klaus in the fishbowl. I could be wrong. Dr. Strange, what do you think? Debunked or maybe not debunked?
I haven't seen anything in regard to debunking him, but, you know, there's always going to be someone out there that's going to put something together and be, you know, obtuse to the situation. So there's always, whatever rabbit hole you want to look into, there's something there for you. So whether you're more of a person that's always trying to debunk something, whatever the topic is, there's always going to be content there for you to consume and lots of people making a case. So at the end of the day, you just got to use your own brain. And if you think everything is just cut and dry and everything's explainable and the planet is normal, then that's you.
Do your own research. That's what we always say in NFTs anyway, and it's the same for UFOs. I always look for debunking videos when I see something cool, and sometimes the debunking video is just like, that's not convincing at all, and sometimes it's like, okay, that explains it. I'm moving on to the next one. And in this case, I'm not super convinced with his debunk right there. All right, we got two more videos for you, two more UFO videos to close off the night. This one is the one. I don't know if you guys heard of it. The video quality is not very good, but it was filmed by the Mexican Air Force back in 2011. I'll turn the volume up a little bit. You'll hear them talking about it.
De la Fuerza Aérea Mexicana es el pasado 5 de marzo.
Like I said, it's the Mexican Air Force, so they might not have the best camera equipment, but you'll hear them counting them here in a second. You can tell they're surprised by what they're seeing.
Ay,
no son 8. Qué barbaridad, ¿eh? Ahí se van a ver bien. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 en la pantalla.
So you can hear them counting, so you know it's not something that they added later on through editing or anything. And I don't know what else would be in the sky. They actually do a little bit of analysis on it.
Lights to determine their shape, to see if there was shape to them.
Looks like those orbs we
how
talked
did
about.
It change frame to frame, minute to minute?
If the lights are oil wells, as skeptics have claimed, then they should flicker like a flame. But using computer programs to break down the lights reveals something very different.
Over a period of frames and minutes, the glow may change on the outer edges, but there is an object in the center that is right.
Like Ronnie Lido said, whenever the military films something and then puts it out there as undetermined, then it's kind of more convincing because military pilots usually know what they're looking at. Same with Fravor, during the Commander Fravor during the Tic Tac incident. Shout out to Mr. Planet Prophet's in the chat. What's up, Mr. Planet Prophet? Ronnie Lido says, anything filmed by the military is always a possibility to me because they're the only ones that get to be in the skies and the water more than anyone else on the planet. Yeah, and they always have video being taken from their aircraft at all times. All right, one more, last one. This one's from Fukushima, Japan. I'll take the music part out. But so this is something that was filmed, I think 2011, and it doesn't look like much at the beginning. They're all just kind of weird lights spreading out, but at the end there, they all come back together as if it's something like intelligent design. Like, what would do that? Check this out. They all spread it out at first, and then they all come back together. So I'm not sure what that could be, personally. I have no idea. I mean, you know, it's not bugs or anything. It's not birds. It's not airplanes. Doc Strange, you got any theories on this one?
I think it's exactly what you're seeing, pretty much. UFOs. What they're doing, we can get into that. That would be a whole nother show. You know, I already gave you guys the pond to drink from. If you want to know what these formations mean, so if you ever do see a fleet of them and they're doing a bunch of weird things, you know exactly what it means. You're not sitting and saying, what do they mean? But check out Damon T. Berry, Knowledge of the Forever Time. It's 8 parts, and part 7 was removed from YouTube. It's a little explosive, and he concludes with part 8. But yeah, I think it's exactly what you see.
C-Spill says drones, but C-Spill, this video was published 11 years ago, and the film was captured in 2011. I don't even think drones existed then, and if they did, they definitely weren't available to the public, 100%. Shout out to Delilah's in the chat. Thanks to everybody for hanging out with us. Hanano with the big super chat. Thank you, Hanano. Appreciate that, bro. Yeah, we do our Strange Vault live streams every Wednesday at 6 p.m. And at the beginning of the stream, we were going over the UFO congressional hearings that happened today. So if anybody ever wants to watch the replay and get caught up on it, it's actually some pretty interesting stuff. So shout out to Dr. Strange and happy birthday to Dr. Strange. Thank you for co-hosting with me, my man. I appreciate you.
Thank you, bro. Appreciate you having me as always, man. Thanks for the B-Day well wishes. Appreciate everybody in the chat that came through. Had a blast.
Absolutely. Thank you guys for hanging out with us, and we'll see you at tomorrow's drop. Later, homies.
Peace.